Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I miss you.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
would love for you to introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you do.
Okay. I am Caroline Burgess, and who am I? Well, that's constantly changing. And what I do is many different things. I work as a manager and a general manager of 2 studios, and I also write and do voiceovers and whatever other creative things I can come up with.
I love that. And then before your manifesting journey, can you tell me like when you started and how it was, if you were really big into manifesting or didn't really know much about it, and then like from where this journey's taken you?
Okay, so I did know a lot about manifesting from the book The Secret that someone gave me in 2000. I don't know, it was like 4 or 5. And even I remember a friend of mine giving me Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, in 1989. Too bad I didn't take advantage of what that really was back then. But anyway, so I did know about it and I was trying to do it for a long time. And I'd hit these blocks that I really didn't know what was going on. Like I'd get so far and then it was like, bam, I couldn't go any farther. So I'd read more, bam. I'd listen more, bam. It was just like block, block, block. And then when I started following you, like at the very beginning, when you first, got online and you started offering the different classes, I'm like, I really would like to do a class. And I think the point for me to start was my mother passing away. So it was, a lot of heavy stuff, but also you still have to go on, of course, which I always do. Um, so my first class actually was when I was in Tucson, Arizona, and I think it was activating the wealth class.
Yes,
And I
activating
did
the
it.
wealth files.
I did it during that whole period of trying to clean out my mother's condo with my sister, etc. But I was dedicated to get online, 3 hours behind to learn. And that's how I really started. So it was like a real, heavy thing came down on me, and I still knew I needed to get through some of those blocks. And
Wow.
so I don't know if that totally answered it, but
It
you
did, yeah.
helped me to move through a lot of those blocks.
What what were some of the biggest changes that you saw or experienced?
Okay, I think the biggest change was you can read, you can listen to it, but it's actually changing the behavior. So if I'm doing everything that I've done for the last 20 years, I'm going to get everything that I've gotten for the last 20 years. So it was truly digging deep internally. Um, and I used to be a not feeling person. Like I was like, I don't like feelings. I don't want to hear about your feelings. And I shut my feelings down. I was very vocal about that for years. So the difference was getting into that feeling of like uncomfortable, like a situation would come up. Maybe I could get a little anxiety or whatever was going on, getting into and getting into the deeper part of the feeling and finding out where did it come from. And a lot of times it came from, you were 7 or, you were 10, and an experience keeps following you through your life until you change it. And I learned that from you, how to
Wow.
change it. I don't,
Oh,
does that make sense?
yeah, I love that. I
Okay.
love that. I know
Yeah.
you did great. I mean, you really did, especially I don't think I knew that I knew you were away and you were busy, but that's a lot to take on when you were, and you did great. You did so much while you were cleaning out your mom's house and going through all that.
Yeah. And connecting with the other women in the group. We all and being honest about what's going on, because finding out that, what, you're not alone. Um, Other people go through this. We may not speak about it, but we got to be very open in your group and use those tools, that toolbox, to continue on. And then, of course, I did a few other classes with you too, because I don't think it just stops at one. I think if we want to continue to grow, and we have been doing the same behavior for 40 years, 50 years, however many years, one class isn't really going to fix you. It definitely is a stepping stone, but there needed to be more work done. So that's why I did several.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then what,
Yeah.
tell me about some of your wins. You had a lot.
Oh my gosh. Holy moly. Um, my mortgage is paid off. So that was a
That's
win.
fantastic.
Things showed up, like checks would just kind of show up, or not even a check, but a opportunity, or I'd meet someone and it was no coincidence, which that's happened through my life. But with the manifesting, it happened more. And then I think I've had a lot of monetary wins, absolutely, in 2020 and 2021, no doubt. But there's more than that. So an example would be, okay, I'm at work and I didn't really think about the smaller things until you brought it up. Okay, I have no staff, I'm getting burnout, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, you're like, well, why don't you manifest a desk person or manifest this? So doing little things like that. And then the people just show up, they walk in or they call. And to me, those are big wins too. And the people that I'm around are wins, the connections, because I've met people where they just show up and then it's connected to, hey, I need you to do this work. So
I
I've
love
had a
that.
lot of wins.
I know you have. Yeah, you've
Yeah,
done really, really well. There was
been
one
awesome.
story when we were working together. There was one story about, I think it was a client or a customer. We were talking about feminine and masculine energy, and
Yeah,
you switched it in a minute, and then all of a sudden their behavior switched too, and ended up buying a package or something, right? Do you remember that?
exactly. Yes. Yes. Is getting into that feminine energy, because for me, I stayed in a lot of the masculine energy, not because I wanted to. I was in the beauty business, so that's feminine. But the masculine energy, my kids and the father died, and it was like I felt like I had to carry all of that, and I had to be, always like the, I don't know, army sergeant, you know? So it
Yeah,
was like tapping into that other side, and tapping into that other side helped me to manifest more as well.
that was a great story. Yeah,
Truly. Yes.
to be aware of it. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yes.
And then let's see, what did you find challenging about the tools, if anything?
Let's see. There was one when we were writing. I know I printed out all these different, workshop, um, workshop. I don't know
Workbooks?
what you call them, but anyway, printed them out and I'd be writing. And I think the hardest part for me was to really look at kind of way back when, like when I was little, and go, okay, because there was a lot of trauma when I was little, like digging deep into that and going, oh, I didn't realize that that behavior has followed me through 40 years, So for me, that was the hardest part. So I'm pretty cool with feelings now. It doesn't really bother me anymore.
That's good because it's the feeling. Feeling is the secret.
Yes, you know what? And it really is. And the other that I think a really positive is the energy. So regardless, my mother passed away. That's a very deep grief, right? But my energy that I was putting out, I had wins. Me and my sister had wins when we were in Arizona. So it's like you could think you're at your lowest low, and it wasn't, it's part of life, and it's a sad part of life. However, our energy that we were both putting out, we had a lot of wins there, and we laughed, and we, ended up doing some really cool stuff for her.
That's awesome. So you
Yeah.
don't need to be on cloud nine and like super, super high vibing all the time to get wins. Clearly you can
No,
just,
it was just like it was just like a regular energy, but it was a putting out that energy. And then I do want to bring up one more thing that you taught me too. And that is to be aware of my thinking. So it's like if I'm doing the dishes, like, you're thinking doing the dishes, well, where's your mind going? Well, why am I thinking about something that happened 21 years ago and has nothing to do with anything? Or when I wake up in the morning, why was I immediately thinking about what a piece of junk I was? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like before I even got out of bed. So that was another thing that was a big change for me, was my thinking. And I
Wow.
think that's how I ended up getting so many wins,
I think
because
you're
I
right.
changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, so did you what about your speech and your words and when you're speaking To yourself or to others? Do you catch yourself or?
Yes, much more than I ever did. And, I didn't realize, well, most people don't realize unless you become aware of it, of things that you say, like, oh, that's killing me, or like things like that. You don't realize it. You just say it. Oh, that's probably not a really good thing to be saying casually, because you're kind of putting that energy out there,
Exactly.
you know?
Wow.
So, and now I have to be on video, right? This is recorded.
Yep.
Because that's one of my things too. So this is going to be interesting. I'm working through it.
You're great. I know. We were just talking about that today. If you go back and you watch day 2, because I wanted to play these, I'm going to play these in the group, small group, 50 people,
Oh yeah, 50. Okay.
And today we were talking about that, how showing up and being seen, being
Yeah.
visible, especially on like in big groups or on your personal page, is daunting for a lot of people and it's holding them back.
Right.
So what's your plan for this brand new year? What's your big manifesting goals or?
Okay. So I actually listened to your day one last night at probably 9 or 10 at night. It's a long day, but and then I wrote notes, and then I wrote out what my plan is for the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd, because those are the days that I'm off. I have like a half day on the 31st. And I made a reasonable plan that's attainable. And it's actually a really cool plan. So some things that I was going to do last year that I didn't quite do.
I love that.
Yeah. And then it's going to happen. There'll be wins. I have no doubt.
That's exactly what you have to,
Yeah.
where your mind has to go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like what your thoughts were like from the very beginning to now, what some of your biggest wins were, what some of your biggest aha moments. Let's talk about maybe aha moments. If there were any, like, I know you did.
Yes. And the aha moment, and this kind of is going to sound a little strange, but for me was happiness, true happiness inside. Like no matter what's going on, I'm a happier person, truly inside joy, that energy comes out. And I was not for a long time. I was very resentful. I had a lot of bitterness, but who doesn't when when you have all these negative thoughts going through your head before you even get out of bed? So for me, internal joy and happiness under any circumstances, for me, is a win. And I did learn that in your groups.
Oh, wow.
Truly learned it. Yeah.
That makes me happy. That's huge.
It sure is.
That's what we want, that, peace, happiness. So yeah, that's huge. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you for your
Well,
time.
thank you. And I'm so excited about listening. I'm going to listen to day 2 tonight. So
Yeah, day 2 was good.
Yeah.
And then day 3 is tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then I'm just going to kind of have some bonus days. And then I've got a new manifesting program that I'm announcing tomorrow.
Awesome.
Magic. Yep.
Good.
I know. I'm
It
super
works.
excited. Yeah, I'm super excited.
If I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it. I truly do. It absolutely works.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know what? We can't do it alone. And I was on the fence quite a few times at the beginning, because I listened to you for quite a while about some of the groups and do I want to spend the money and blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, you know what? You spend it, it comes back tenfold. And it truly does.
I agree.
It's like we go to Starbucks, or you'll go to, go out to dinner at Carrabba's or whatever it is. If you add all that up, you could be taking a nice workshop that could benefit the rest of your life. So
yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. All right, cool. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you in the group.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.